Hey yo, this is Tiffany, looking a hot mess. I'm here today to talk to you guys about sales pages, and not just sales page copy, but sales page design. Now, here's one thing that you should know about me. I love writing sales pages, designing them, not so much. It can be frustrating, and yeah. So I know that I'm not the only one. So what I wanted to do today was to share with you guys 6 tips on how you can map out your sales page design as you're typing to make it a lot easier to get the sales page up on your website. Now these are some good tips to follow whether you're writing and designing the sales page yourself or you're going to be handing it over to a web designer to design it for you. It's just going to make the process a little smoother. Okay, so let's just go ahead and dive into these 6 tips. The first tip is to use headlines and subheadlines. These 2 things make your page so much easier to scan for vital information. Now, I know that as writers, we want to know that our readers are hanging on our every word, that they're reading every single sentence. But as humans, we skim, we scan, we want to get through things fast, and our eyes naturally will go to things that stand out. And so, if your ideal reader does decide that she wants to scan, it's in your best interest to make it easy for her to do that. And having headlines and subheadlines are a really easy way to do that. After all, she might be this close to buying your offer and just needs to confirm one thing. So making it really easy for her to find that one thing just gets her that much closer to buying from you that much faster, and that's never a bad thing, right? Okay, and also in addition to telling the reader exactly where to find vital information, your headlines and subheadlines can help to keep you on track while you're writing your sales page. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a rambler. It's really easy for me to go off on tangents when I'm talking to people, and that can carry over into writing. And so these headlines and subheadlines tend to help you stay on topic because there are these visual reminders of this is what you're supposed to be talking about right now. And it just makes sure your sales copy flow a lot easier and makes it just make sense from beginning to end. So now some common headlines and sections to include in your sales page. This is a little bit of bonus information. Are one, your attention grabbing headline, which is usually where you call out your client, their pain points, or the results that they're looking for. Is just an easy way to, from the very beginning or the very top of your sales page, to let them know, hey, you should probably read this because there might be something in here for you. The second common headline or section is the introducing section, which is where you introduce your offer and its benefits. And then you move into the what's included or what you get section, which is where you talk about all of the features of the offer. And then you go on to the how this works section, which is where you talk about the process from beginning to end of working with you, whether it starts with buying the offer, what happens next, or booking a sales call. You want to walk them through every single step of the process so that the expectations are all there. They know what's going to happen. Testimonials is another section where you share the results that other people have gotten from working with you. You don't have to have one specific section just for testimonials. You can sprinkle your testimonials throughout the sales page, but if you are going to have them all in one place, that could be another subject or another headline, another section is the who is this for section, which is where you discuss basically your ideal customer. Like, you let them know who would get really great results from getting this offer. And then on the other end is the who this is not for section. Not every person is your ideal client. And for a variety of reasons, it might be something that they don't need, something they don't need right now. It just might not be a good fit. So the who this is not for section is a great place to talk about who this is not for. The bio section is where you talk about who you are, your qualifications, why you created the offer, why you're the best person to get it from, and all that good stuff. And then finally, you have the FAQs, or the frequently asked questions section. And this is where you're going to be talking about or answering questions and addressing common objections. I really can't talk. Um, so now we're going to get into the second tip, which is break up your text. Now, have you ever read something online, like on Facebook or something, and it was just one big long block of text? I don't know about you, but it angers me. It's annoying, and I refuse to read it when I see it. Or sometimes the topic will be interesting, and so I try to muddle my way through it, but I just can't do it. It's too much, and so I think that's something that's really common. These long blocks of text are not only annoying, but they just make you work harder, and the harder that we have to work, the less likely we are to keep going. Now, we learn as early as elementary school to break up text into paragraphs. Now, online, you have to take it even further. In school, they teach you like 6 or 7 sentences per paragraph, something like that. Online, you want to use really short paragraphs, like 2 to 3 sentences tops. And if it makes sense, you can also just go ahead and have a 1 sentence paragraph if it can stand on its own well. And also, you want to use bullet points whenever it makes sense. I feel like you can never use too many bullet points. Tip number 3, I think we're on number 3, is to use visual emphasis. I couldn't think of one word to describe all this stuff, so I just use visual emphasis. With online writing, things like bold type or italics and capitalization are your friends. Use them strategically to draw attention to specific words, phrases, and sentences that you want your ideal reader to focus on. And I also like to use pops of color throughout my sales pages, but that's just me. Tip number 4 is to make a note. Well, I think we're on number 4, whatever. The next tip is to make a note of where to place visual and design elements. Like when you're writing your sales page, you don't want to break your creative flow by stopping to create or add visual elements like pictures or the little pictures of testimonials or graphics or call buttons. That can take you out of your creative mode, and it can be really hard to get back into it. So what you want to do is you want to focus on getting all the words down first, and then you can go back in and add all the visual stuff. But one way to remember where you wanted things to go is to use placeholders. Like you can, you type in your text, and then you can, if you know that you want to put in a pricing table, you can type out pricing table here, or a testimonial from this client here, or the buy now button here. And then to avoid ending up with a published sales page that still has these little text placeholders in it, which is kind of embarrassing, you should go ahead and make it really hard to overlook those those placeholder notes by changing the font, the type, the size, and or the color of the text. And then tip number 5 is to embrace white space. While having great visuals definitely does add to the effectiveness of your sales page, there is such a thing as having too many visuals, of your sales page being too busy. You want to have white space. The white space, think of it as a way to give the eyes a break. White space is good. You don't have to fill in every single space with something. And then tip number 6 is to use call buttons strategically. The whole point of a sales page is to get your client to take action, whether that's to buy your coaching package or enroll in your course or book a sales call so that you can close the deal. You need to include a clear call to action. Personally, I love using call to action buttons with micro copy like, yes, sign me up, or I want in, or take my money, book a call, or, just a classic buy now. But whatever your call to action is, you want to use it strategically. For example, what you don't want to do is to jump the gun by introducing it too soon. You want to wait until your reader has learned what your offer is, how it'll help them, and how you're the best person to do it before you offer it. That's unless they arrive on your sales page already knowing everything. Like, for example, if you are directing traffic to your sales page from an email or an ad where you've already talked about everything, then okay, that's fine to go ahead and put a call to action page at the top for people who just want to get straight to business. But usually you want to wait until after you've gone through the basics before you ask for their money. Putting up a call to action button prematurely is the sales page equivalent of saying, hey baby, can I get them digits? To a woman when she's walking across the street before you've ever even introduced yourself or asked her name, or seen if you guys would even click. So don't do the copywriting version of hollering at somebody from across the street that you've never met before. You want to, because like in those situations, even if you could have been a match made in heaven, that could have been my future husband or whatever, if someone hollers that out from across the room, first thing through anybody's mind usually is just, boy, bye, or oh my gosh, let me get in my car, something like that. It's usually not, hey, yeah, okay. Anyways, what you want to do is you want to talk to your ideal client first. Tell her about yourself, what you do for a living. Let her see your value and how you could change her life. And then you can invite her to give your offer a shot. Personally, I think it's smart also to put your call to action buttons in a few places, especially if you're going to be using long form sales copy. Remember, your goal is to make it super easy for people to work with you, and forcing them to scroll through a whole bunch of text to find that buy now button that they passed by 3 minutes ago is not making it easy. And that's pretty much it. Just write persuasive copy and use the tips that I just went over to create a sales page that earns you more money. And if you ever need help with writing a sales page or even designing one, I have a web designer who I work with to bring my sales copy to life on my clients' pages. You just go ahead and shoot me a message. Bye.